In the previous 4 parts of the video, we saw that the Kshetrajna, Shiva, the ever white, meaning while manifested in Arjuna's bodily Kshetra, is ever right, ever happy. He is the knower of the self, called Atmavid, and the knower of yoga, called Yogavid. The yoga, knowledge of soul, called Atmavidya, Supreme's confidential spiritual knowledge, unknown to any Maharshi, including Maharshi Vyasa, here the pioneer of scriptures, and the later Sapta Maharshis, the 7 sages of these 7 religions. During this thick darkness, a period when the yoga, the spiritual knowledge, gets destroyed by the end of the Iron Age, the Kali Yuga, the Black Age. The Kala, time of the end of this night, known to the Kalajnanin, Shiva, arrives to teach yoga again to Arjuna in his last birth of the cycle, the personified measure of Kala. Thus, in this verse, Shiva addresses Arjuna as Anagha, meaning the sinless one, says, I have narrated the deepest confidential Shastra, meaning law, the righteousness, Dharma. After imbibing the law, the Srimad, meaning my supreme opinion, you will become in my image, a wise who knows what actions are to be performed and what are not to be performed, with nil self-opinion that formed out of the influence of the human written scriptures and their interpretations by Asita, more correctly Ashvita, meaning souls full of darkness of ignorance, and Devala, meaning idol worshippers, praising the idols and scriptures of their ancestors in their temples, synagogues, churches, mosques, etc. This verse mentions the Swayam Sreshta, the Swayambhu, meaning the self-manifested Shiva, acts with pramanam. The word pramanam from root ma means a measure, a mark, standard means of proof or demonstration. First, through a new Shastra, the law set forth by way of uttering the Srimad, just as shown in this ancient picture. The great art of light, the heaven, and shadow, the hell, depicts the third realm, the sky, or dawn, the time of transformation. Represented are the 2 highest means by which humans can understand Yahweh Elohim's plan, sacred authority, and documentation of law. Yahweh or Yehovah and Elohim, the plural of Il, is from Sanskrit Yahweh Ilaha. The authentic law is uttered by Shiva through the temporary bodily chariot Krishna Chandra, Soma, crescent moon, Hanuman, Brahma, who documents it. The documented law is then narrated by Shiva through Agni, Arjuna, Adam, the Garutman, the one Sada Vipra or Sthita Prajna, Arjuna, praised in equivalence of Shiva by many names in all world scriptures. In the Rig Veda, Agni, the Pushana, and Soma, or the male and female, called Adam and Eve, together called Adam, are said to be the parents of the 2 worlds, the heaven and the earthly hell. And verily, in this Gita verse, Supreme says, I, the Supreme Sun, am the light of the crescent moon and Agni. One may see the elaboration of this picture with Gita, Jewish Tanakh, Christian Bible, and Muslim Quran verses in these 2 videos. The basis of this video is this new document of law, the Shastra, and serves as a godly message to the viewers about Shiva's arrival and the establishment of the heavenly golden age, the Sanatana Dharma, being currently in progress. What is Dharma and why these asat, meaning the non-ever existing 7 opinions, are called adharma? The two terms in the Gita are meaningfully mentioned as Sva'dharma Vigunaha, meaning the beneficial soul-conscious state, which means holding on to self or the soul free of gunas of indriya, the qualities of bodily senses, and Paradharma Bhayavaha, means holding on to or to be under the control of the pleasures of the bodily senses that are the enemies of the soul, the source of dukkha, sorrow. Thus, being body conscious or conscious of senses causes destruction to the soul, the mind and intellect, thus is dangerous. In this verse, Supreme says to Arjuna that when Dehi, meaning a soul attached to its Deha, body, crosses the 3 gunas arising from the bodily senses, then the soul becomes immortal in happiness, liberated from the sorrows related to the bodily birth, death, old age, etc. Thus, verily, the etymology of the word guna from root graha means a cord, a string, thread. Root graha means to seize, adopt, grasp, to take captive or prisoner through the thread like gunas of the bodily senses. In this verse, Supreme tells Arjuna about who is called a nirguna, the stringless, meaning devoid of good qualities, the virtues, as well as the worthless bad vices, thus becoming a supreme being in the image of the ever happy Supreme Shiva. In this verse, Supreme says to Arjuna that a soul or intellect that becomes equal to me covers or embraces everyone in this world through the energy of yoga, praised as Bibharti Avyaya Triloka Ishvaraha. Explained in this verse, the qualities of all the indriya are experienced in the chariot of Arjuna, yet totally still, calm and composed, meaning the one with always an incorporeal stage of being detached from all the indriyas, as if he has forgotten them in his mind and intellect, is the one who nurtures every living being despite being detached from everyone. And he is nirguna, still, thoughtless, yet the bhokta, the pleasure seeker of qualities. Here in this verse, the Supreme says, despite performing any action, the one who is especially pure in mind, engrossed in yoga, the soul who has gained victory over the inconstant mind through intellect, is the conqueror of the indriyas, having spiritual feeling for all the violent as well as the non-violent, or good or bad living beings, is neither attached nor bound to that good or bad action. The question that arises is, why is Arjuna alone being taught the yoga to become nirguna in the likeness of the ever nirguna Shiva? It is because, as said in this verse, all the 3 gunas originate from the one pillar, the one key, the origin, Prakriti, meaning the one created at the beginning. Here, Arjuna, the father of the world, Adam. Which means that until Arjuna, the world father, begins the respective quality, the respective children cannot begin their births in this world. The 3 gunas or 3 qualities, namely, are the heavenly sattva guna, meaning goodness, purity, trueness, genuineness, etc., listed in chapter 16. are called divine virtues or properties. The second, Raja, is the quality that brings Rajani, meaning night, allows them to take birth who do not learn yoga from the Supreme and additionally create havoc with their bad deeds, here bringing defamation to Shiva's auspicious task. Thus they forever take birth only in the night and are desirous of polluting the world with their numerous opinions, activities, and passion, the foulness of Rajoguna. The lowly third, the dark Tamoguna, is the quality when all, including the deities of the Sanatana Dharma, and these are full of ignorance, indulging in the corruption of Indriyas. The last bodily birth of the Kshetra, the Arjuna, known to Kshetrajna Shiva alone, is the indicator of the end of the time of the seven, when Shiva takes divine birth by self-manifesting in Arjuna's bodily chariot, taking control of his Indriyas to teach yoga, the power that destroys this world and re-establishes this world. Let's see the etymological meaning of the word Indriya, meaning sense organs, and thereby know the significance of Arjuna's Indriyas. Indriya means belonging to or agreeable to Indra, a name of Arjuna. Indriyas are companion of Indra, power, force, quality which belongs especially to the mighty Indra. Exhibition of power of all senses, the intact virile or undischarged semen power. The word Indra from root in, ind or id, from e, a name of Kamadeva, means he fights, conquers with his thunderbolt, a depiction of the sound and light of Shiva that rains water and fire of knowledge and yoga. Is the power, the Lord, Master, conqueror of five vices, the demons of darkness. This slide presents the detailed etymology of the word Kama, a name of Agni, the Vishnu, the bodily chariot of the unknown Shiva. He is the time, the wealth, sound, and light of wisdom. In this verse, Supreme says to Arjuna that the vice of never extinguishing fire of lust, the chief of dacoits, which is fulfilled with great difficulty and is like an eternal enemy of a knowledgeable man. And this destructive anger, both born out of Rajoguna, are exceedingly voracious and very sinful, because the organ of lust itself is the most sinful, corrupt organ of the soul in the perishable body. Consider it to be an enemy in this Mahatakala, the dualistic world. This is why, first of all, control your inconstant Indriya and definitely kill this sinful vice of lust, the head of the dacoits that destroys knowledge and yoga, and become Jitatma Jitendriya, meaning victorious conqueror of Indriyas, the achiever of Shama, meaning well-disposed, calmness and composure, Shamkara. In the chapter 2 of the Gita, after learning about being still, composed in the pleasures of all Indriyas, in the first verse of chapter 3, Arjuna is very upset and saying to the ever Nirguna Shiva, "Why are you indulging me in this ghora karma, the lowly, terrible actions of the corrupt Indriya?" All the sense organs, excluding the organ of lust, are more or less easier to tame while being in their act by constant regular practice. But taming the organ of lust, that can be only achieved by keeping the mind busy in the constant remembrance of Shiva self-manifested inside while being in the act, and thereby not allowing any discharge into the many virgin companions who have knowledgefully recognized Shiva in Arjuna and thus engross with Shiva while willingly partnering with the united Shiva Arjuna physically is the most difficult task, yet is achieved by the one and only Arjuna, praised even in Kali Yuga as the elevated conqueror of organ of lust, the Nistraigunya Gunatita Kalatita Nirguna Amogha Virya Kuru Pravira, meaning the unerring, unfailing, reaching the mark in vigor, strength, power, virility, splendor, undischarging semen virile in the likeness of Shiva. Thus, Amogha Virya is the name of Shiva and Vishnu, the perfected Shankara Agni, the Lord of Devaloka, the Lord of Sanatana Dharma, Amarnath, Purusha Rishabha, Arjuna, in the image of the Purushottama Shiva, as said in this Gita verse. He is the Bibharti Avyaya Triloka Ishwaraha, the Lord of the three worlds, who embraces or covers all living beings through his power of yoga. We may summarize by this Gita and these Manusmriti verses. Dharma, the virtue, exists in its fullness in Sat Yuga, the Krita Yuga, for it is Krita, meaning made by the Sat, the ever-existing firm bodily chariot Arjuna. And then Dharma diminishes in the cycle, and by the end of the Kali Yuga, only Adharma exists in its fullness, with diminished power of yoga in Arjuna, the personified Sanatana Dharma. Adharma inflicts pain on soul, the mind and intellect, and Dharma, the virtue, stabilizes the soul in constant happiness, devoid of the awareness of Indriyas. Thus is the period of constant happiness of the divine deities. This verse mentions as one among the organs slips away from control, the wisdom slips away from the soul, the mind and intellect. Certain additional pictorial evidences are these. The carving of the human family tree in Panchavarna Swami Temple, Chennai, India, and this ancient Sansara Vriksha, and Adam, the root of the tree, who, when conquers his organ of lust, the fully grown human family tree's 7 branches of Soma, the Krishna Chandra, the crescent moon, female, the Brahmas, 7 snakes, bend their false opinions, uniting with the one in the image of Shiva, and the righteous religious trunk of Sanatana Dharma of virtuous deities is established. Through this Gita-supported 5-part video, made in accordance to Shiva's new scripture, we sincerely request the viewers to know of the arrival of Shiva in 1936 and his task of establishing Sat Yuga and destruction of Kali Yuga ends by 2036. Please recognize who Arjuna is with the united Shiva and how he is becoming Vishnu along with Krishna Chandra Brahma. By the time Arjuna is perfected as Vishnu, the Amarnatha in Shiva's image, and is revealed practically to the world, Pralaya, meaning a time of soul destruction owing to innumerable worries of unfulfilled desires, and having firm faith in this very delusion that enjoying the always increasing lust alone is the greatest worldly attainment, and the physical destruction, the now slow in speed, the events of destructive wars and natural calamities that are set as part of the world drama will speed up in the very near future. Please hurry and recognize them through Shiva's knowledge at AIVV.